Okay, so I'm doing some upgrades here in my mine, and I was going to show you guys kind of what I've been doing. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to keep all of this dressing in the wires just due to length and stuff like that, but that's going to be something I find out soon. As you guys can see, there's no rigs in here right now. I took them all out, and the mine used to run the width of the room with a hot aisle closest over there to that door and the cold aisle where I am standing now, but I am changing it to go long ways. This doesn't give me as much room on either side, but it does give me the ability to add in this third shelf. So the reason for that is because the other mine with the width, it was just too crowded. I had that table, it's an 8-foot table, and it was full of PCs all the way left to right on it. So it was just time to rearrange. So my plan is I'm going to take some plastic from the very top there of the ceiling. I'm going to remove all those cables and stuff, and I'm going to droop the plastic down kind of like I had before. It's going to go from that door all the way across, and then I'm actually going to have it bend right here and go straight down this wall, so then I still have access through this door to the cold aisle. So the cold aisle will be from this door all the way up to this cabinet, down the perimeter will be down the face of these shelves, and then all the way back to this wall to where this door is. So this will all be the cold aisle, and I'm standing in like a little entryway. So that'll be cold aisle, and then the hot aisle will be all the machines will be on these shelves pumping heat this way, and that'll fill up from where I'm standing all the way to where these fans are, where it'll go up and out. So I'm pretty pumped about this. I'm thinking it's going to be a good way to expand and a good use of my space. As you guys can see though, it is quite the operation. We have quite the mess here in my garage, and you can see all the rigs just kind of stacked up here, and they just keep going and going and going. And it's actually quite surprising how little room they take up when you can stack them all up like this. But you know, all of these machines, see all of these black machines except for 3 of them were on that table, and then it was just getting so crowded. But all of those will end up nice and spaced out on all of these shelves. So pretty pumped about that, and we're gonna get back to it, and I will show you guys kind of what that looks like when we're done. Okay, so the shelves are done. We're gonna start lining them up, and then we're gonna start mocking everything up with all the rigs in here. All right, so we got some computers in here. It's looking pretty good. And as you can see, I had to take down all of that wiring because it just takes too much wiring, and you end up with stuff like this too. Like, I'm gonna leave all that stuff just because I don't have to move the power strips, but like if you look, see if I can find it real quick right here. So if you look right here, you can see I cut one, and it's because when all this was together, the one that was sitting right here died. Or no, it was right here actually, because this cable's running down, as you can see. The one that was sitting right here died, and there was no way for me, without taking everything apart and just redoing a bunch of stuff, having to rip down that wall and everything to really put a new one in. So I just ended up cutting the old one out and putting this one in and running it on the ground. And that's the reality of it. I mean, if you really try hard to just keep it super, you know, manicured, you better never mess with the room again. You better fill out the entire room and never have to mess with it except for do 1-for-1 changes, because otherwise, and even if you do fill out the whole room, you'll see that you'll spend twice as much in things like cabling. I'll show you that. This is the pile of cables that just came off of that wall. So just to get the cables from there down to the bottom of that board, you're talking that is the pile of cables. So, and you're having to double them up and stuff like that. Looks really nice when you do it. It is a pain in the ass when you try to move stuff around and if you try to upgrade and stuff. So I'm just going back to plugging stuff in and making it work. Yeah, it won't be the prettiest, but it will be the easiest to work with and the most functional. And this isn't really a showroom. So anyways, that's just kind of the explanation. If you guys see me doing stuff a little different this time and not manicuring everything, that's why. It's because it takes a bunch of time and it takes a bunch of money, and I don't want to buy hundreds of dollars in cables just to make it look good. So it's not like buying network cable. These are 14 gauge cables, so copper. So yeah, they're not super cheap. But anyways, this is looking really good. So we're going to continue with it, and I'm going to see how much room I have to build more servers in the end here. So man, I got a lot of stuff moved and it is looking good. Oh, of course the dogs would bark. But this is how it's coming out. Looking good. Got my ASICs in there for Caspa. All these are GPUs. That rack came out nice. I ended up having to put like an anti-slip pad down because these things were just slipping off. But now, I mean, they're on there like a rock, dude. It's pretty good. And then these got anti-slip pads too on the rigs themselves, and works great. And as you can see over here, there's CPU Alley down there. All the Epics down there on the bottom, and all the 7900Xs and 5900Xs up there on top. So now it's just the trick of running the wires and the network and then tarping this baby off. It's coming along pretty good though. Okay, so we've got such good progress going here. We've got this whole wall up. We just did that to tension the wall. Let me go show you guys the other side. This is the other side of that wall. And this is kind of what it looks like over here so far. So as you can see, anywhere we don't need air to go, we block it off. And then only cut holes where we want the cold air to go. So it's coming out really sweet. Now I'm having to pull these down, and I'm gonna have to lay them down over here. It's not my first choice, but it is what it is, and everything should reach. I should have tons of extra cables. And we're done. So I ended up having to rip all those off the wall and putting them all on the ground. Not nearly as clean as it once was, but man, does it work really well in this configuration. And let me show you guys how many cables I actually ended up with. So all of these are extra right here. All of those are extra, even extra networking cables. And this big pile of cables. So that's a couple $100 in cables between those two piles. So on this side though, this is the side I really got to work on. If you have to pull a rig off, I'll come over here, unplug everything and pull it out this way. But this side came out really, really clean. And all the computers over here. So yeah, that's how it came out. I'm really happy with it. I really like the design. It keeps everything really cool. The hot side's really small, while the cold side's really big. So it doesn't really have a chance to fill up this big kind of hot side. And now you don't need as much CFM to suck out the small of the room either. So seems to work pretty well. You can see these are temperature controlled. We're only running one fan here at the moment, and everything is mining Kapow right now. because I'm load testing. As I hook stuff up, I want to make sure everything's at the highest load. So yeah, pretty stoked. So this should be my final configuration in this location. Next we'll be moving to a bigger location, but that won't be for a while. It's been pretty good. I know everybody can see right now that we are going into the Bullrun. So really hoping for some Ethereum days to come back. Man, I can't wait to have those days back if they come back. But I'm not really holding my breath. But things are still looking pretty good. But man, one thing I will say, I am so surprised on how good these CPUs are doing. They are like miniature ASICs right now, man. I'm loving it. Loving it. So CPU farm, good stuff. So anyways, that's about all I got for this time. Until next time, guys.